Hello everyone. Today I will be presenting grid found under the Pratham version 1 tab in the ribbon. You can access it by clicking on the grid button within the modeling panel. As you see in the drop down panel, we have multiple grid creators. So let's start with creating multiple grids. The first section prompt the user to input the offset for grid creation, particularly from the left and right offsets. This offset is essentially from the origin, so it enables the placement of the grids in the drawing. Second, the number of grids. So the user can specify the number of grids they wish to create in both X and Y direction. Next is grid spacing in X and Y direction. This spacing is constant spacing between the grids. In this case, we are using the default naming convention such as X1, X2, Y1, Y2. Now click on create grids. Let's verify that the grid created has the input parameter we specified. Firstly, the spot coordination, it is showing 0, 0, and the spacing between the grid is same as we provided in the input panel, which is 10 feet. Alright, let's try the second option. Now we can use custom offset and custom grid naming. So we have also changed the coordinates from the origin to 50 feet and the number of grids to 3. For grid spacing, we are using custom offsets. So when the checkbox is selected, additional input field appear, allowing us to specify unique offset for each grid in X and Y direction. So for X grid, we will take 10, 5, and for Y grids, we take 4 and 8 feet. Now for custom grid naming, we need to give 3 names since the number of grid is 3. But if we give only 2 values, the remaining grid name will take the default grid name. So there is a catch here. Now create a grids. Let's verify that the grid created has the input parameter we specified. Let's take a look at our first two coordinates. It says 50 feet, which is correct. Third grid is showing x3. Since we didn't provide any input value for the grid, it took default value. So we also have renumber grid tool, so let's use it. Now you pick and rename grid element in a project real quick. This tool checks if the view you are using works with a grid element, then ask you to pick the grids in order you want. We can use negative integer value and then it will follows the sequence. We can use capital or small letter of the alphabets. Okay, the third one, grid toggle tool. It is a new feature that lets you easily show or hide grid bubbles at both ends of the grid. The tool has a simple interface with checkboxes for a different option. You can choose to show or hide the bubbles at both ends of the grid, or you can control whether to show or hide the bubbles at specific ends. For instance, if you tick the show bubble at both ends, it will automatically turn off the conflict option. That way our choices are clear. Thank you for watching.